A beloved ride at Thorpe Park could potentially have reached the end of its life and may be closing very, very soon. Another ride overseas has reached the end of its life despite the fact it was only open for about 6 days. And we have confirmation of a returning scare maze at Alton Towers for Scarefest. We are slightly more towards autumn than summer now, so I'll allow the Halloween talk. But jokes aside, all that and more has happened this past week in theme parks. Welcome back to the least consistent series on YouTube. This is a weekly series and the last time I posted it was about 3 weeks ago. Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? But that is purely because I report on everything happening in UK theme parks. And what has been going on in UK theme parks recently? Nothing. So I've been waiting for a bit of news to actually concoct a video. And here we are, and I've still had to go overseas for it, like I said in the intro. You know I'm low on news when I'm doing that. Oh, and also, if you are new around here, then please be sure to subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 90,000 subscribers now, which is crazy. So if you want to help towards that goal, and you aren't already, please subscribe. It'd be greatly appreciated. So then, where do we begin this episode, this past week in theme parks? I went on a streak of knowing where to start. I don't this time. What has happened to me and this series? We've fallen off. Well, I guess we could start with something smaller, and that is over at Drayton Manor with Gold Rush. If you didn't know, it's a roller coaster that's very confusing and makes no sense. It goes like round the layout once forwards and then manages to end up back on the lift hill facing the other way and stuff. Yeah, I'm not going to explain it again. But that coaster has 2 different cycles, and now they have officially put on a sign outside the ride that Cycle 2 will operate from 2 PM onwards. And that is good to see some consistency, because not only was the ride breaking down a lot, so it wasn't very consistent, but also there were some days where Cycle 1 would run for pretty much the entire day, and then Cycle 2 would be on for about half an hour at the end. I have my fingers crossed for the Manor of Drayton that this goes well. And along with discussing the Manor of Drayton, why don't we discuss the Towers of Alton, a theme park home to so many not so tall roller coasters and rides, and they're so unique, aren't they? For once, I'm going to thank the tree line. But what do we need to discuss about the park? Could it be a new roller coaster? A new building? Oh, no! We're just going to discuss some containers and a brand new Scarefest maze. If you aren't aware, the park are currently building 2 brand new sort of container-esque buildings with marquees in the middle, and those are going to be used for Scarefest mazes in the future. One of the container and marquee amalgamations are near the Phalanx facility or the Curse at Alton Manor with Emily Alton. The Alton Manor with Emily Alton. So it could be themed to either of them. And then there's another one right by sort of the dark forest section in the middle of the forest, which we have no idea what it could be. Well, my thoughts are the fact they've said there's 2 brand new scare attractions, and that is it for this year. I think one of them will definitely be that Phalanx or Emily Too Many Altons maze, and of course the other is going to be where the dungeons is. I cannot wait for Spooky Boat Ride version 2. Well, if it's even that spooky, because they've announced Amigos in the Afterlife, a brand new sort of Day of the Dead or Dia de los Muertos celebration themed maze for families, and I have a feeling this is probably going to be in the Dungeons building because it seems like a more interactive maze, and they've literally confirmed that it is going in that space. But with those 2 new attractions being built and them being confirmed, there's still that other container place. So what's going there? I think what they've confirmed already to be returning is what they're going to move into that building, and that is Daz Games Panic Reborn. No, it's actually called Daz Games Panic Reloaded, but you know, we might see it in that other building, the sort of like event space they were using before. Maybe they're using that for something else during Scarefest. Maybe it's just being used as a normal building. So to keep that free and still have Daz Games Reloaded, they're going to put it in this marquee and container amalgamation. It makes it a bit different from before because we won't know exactly where the symbols are that we have to tap and everything, because otherwise I would have just ran in and straight away went straight to the symbols and won. I wish I could do that in the original, but I always got locked in. I think it's going to be very cool to see. It will be very different as well, and hopefully more themed. Nemesis Reborn got reloaded. Now it's time for Daz Games to be reborn. And actually, talking of rides coming back and being reborn, we need to actually fly over to the US of A. And I think my plane is about 10 seconds from launching. Launching? No, not landing. Taking off. We are going to Sandusky, Ohio to talk about a ride that did return this year after a massive improvement and complete refurbishment that since had its fair share of issues and now isn't open. That of course being Top Thrill 2 at Cedar Point. A complete change from the original Top Thrill dragster. That used to be an Intamin hydraulic launch, one launch up the top hat and back down again. This time, Zamperla took over. By the way, Zamperla are the people that made this ride. Not a great start, but jokes aside, they actually came in and did a really good job. They made it so instead of just going up once with hydraulics, it then went back and forth with LSMs going up a 400 odd foot spike, which looked crazy, and then eventually launching to that 120 miles an hour, going up the top hat super fast and coming back down again. But this looked like a really good upgrade considering Top Thrill Dragster could have been on its last legs and they could have just completely got rid of it. I was actually really excited to ride this. I was tempted to go out this year, but kind of glad I didn't, because despite how cool it looks, it did actually open on its opening day and it operated for about 6 days until it ceased operation and there were statements coming out that it wouldn't open until the summer. Now obviously we fast forward a few months and it is still closed. Well, the other day they announced that this 2024 edition of Top Thrill 2 will now be opening in 2025. That is big sad if I've ever seen one. Like I said, I really wanted to go out and ride it this year, but I was gonna wait until Top Thrill 2 reopened, and it's not. So that's a shame. But as always, as much as it is closed, and that is very, 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 very upsetting, it will reopen eventually, hopefully with no issues. I'm excited to ride it. And the same cannot be said for a beloved ride at Thorpe Park, because recently there has been a piece of text appear on their maintenance page that does sort of hint that this ride could be coming towards the end of its life. The ride has seen very random extended closures and now it's closing early this year. I'll probably tell you the ride before I go on. It's Rumba Rapids. Yeah, I don't think Rumba Rapids opened until later in the year for this season. I think it opened in like June or something, which is quite late. But you know, everyone seems to love Rumba Rapids. You don't get wet on it really anymore. There was a period for a bit throughout like 2020 and 2021 where it just became an absolute soaker for no reason. But now it's just sort of a lazy river on a boat. So I don't really mind this early closure, because like I said, it is now on the maintenance page. Hyperia's there as well, saying that it might close prior to the advertised park closure time, or whatever. Ghost Train will be closed for a day. Shame that doesn't say from, because that would have been nice. And there you go, Rumba Rapids closed from the 9th of September. So if I am right in saying that it did open in about June, May time, that's only been running for about 3 months of the season. That is a bit ridiculous. And obviously, seeing this news, a lot of people have sort of jumped to the conclusion that it might be closing. And that is a very good point, because it could be. But there are some other options to do with this as well. The first option is this is purely just for maintenance. It is on the ride maintenance page, after all. They could close this ride early and just work on it so it is ready for the start of the season next year and sort of refurbish some of the boats or the trough or something. I'm not really a rapids expert. You don't need to ask me these questions. But there's that logical option. And then there is also the speculative option. And you know I like a bit of speculation. The idea and thought that Rumba Rapids could be closing forever to be removed and make way for a brand new ride. And in my opinion, as much as a lot of people love Rumba Rapids, and I might be sad to see it go, probably not actually, I think a replacement would be so much better. And with that comes the question of what could replace it. Now, as much as we know that there's been massive issues with it, there is a brand new rapid style ride in an area called Amazonia, or is it called Amazonia? I don't know. In Belwadi in Belgium, and they've sort of made it more like a water slide, and it just has so many cool features to it. And it looks really fun. I think that would be awesome for Thorpe Park. At the same time though, they could go for another water ride, such as, I don't know, a Chapas style log flume. That would also be very cool. It could even be something much smaller. Or, as a lot of people are speculating already, they could use this as a site for a brand new roller coaster. Now, personally speaking, that wouldn't be where I'd place my first new roller coaster at Thorpe Park. But the question is, if they got a coaster there, what would it be? And with how it could be themed into the jungle with Nemesis Inferno and sort of maybe even have the sort of Rumba vibe, they really need a multi-launch roller coaster. They have a one launch coaster with Stealth, and that's it. I think a double or maybe even triple launch roller coaster could be perfect if it goes there or wherever else. I don't know, maybe in the future I will do a video where I try and make something in that plot of land. So if you want to see that, leave a like and leave your thoughts in the comments below, because I might make a few of your suggestions. Whether you're suggesting the same as me, a multi-launch or even the spinning coaster, or it could be a Zamperla Valere. Leave it down below and make sure to subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.